Astra 2, Electric Boogaloo, Astra, the second coming, Astra, the Squeakle. Say hello to Ukonami Yuzawa, our second limited support agent. However, unlike Astra, she's actually an anomaly-specific support. First, we'll talk about what she does, how she does it, and her best builds and teams for her to do it best. So basically, Yuzuha will be providing your team with 1200 attack, a 15% damage bonus, a 25% anomaly and disorder damage bonus, 60 AP for your team if you're using her with her engine, physical anomaly buildup, as well as universal anomaly buildup. On to how Yuzuha actually does what she does. Yuzuha will use her umbrella candy gun to shoot enemies during her basic attack. After she hits an enemy, she will generate a charge of candy fright with a maximum amount of 3. When Yuzuha is switched out, she will begin to consume these charges to perform aftershock attacks against the active target. These aftershocks are special because they will actually build up the anomaly of the active agent's element rather than physical. So if you're running her with Yanagi and she performs her aftershock attack, she will build up electric anomaly against the enemy instead of building up physical anomaly. Spamming her basic attack isn't the only way to generate charges. She can actually generate charges using various moves in her kit. Her ult will give her 2 charges, her chain attack will give her 3 charges, her special attack will give her 2 charges, her EX special attack will give her 2 charges, and her defensive assist will give her 1 charge. What this basically means for her is that her charge generation is practically automated and you won't really have to worry about keeping uptime on her buffs because she has so many methods of gaining back charges. Additionally, Yuzuha has access to a command parry very similar to Yuzuha, which provides higher damage, daze, and anomaly application. The increase in damage isn't super insane or anything, so it's not really important for you to use this parry every chance you get, but it's still pretty neat all things considered. Now let's talk about Yuzuha's little raccoon friend, who weirdly enough doesn't seem to actually have a name, at least as of now, so for the purposes of this video we'll just be calling him Rocket. So Rocket is a summon that is handled very similarly to Lucy's Boars, meaning that Rocket will inherit Yuzuha's attack, impact, AM, and AP. Also, the raccoon counts as its own separate friendly unit, meaning that it will contribute to Kaboom the cannon stacks. Also, the raccoon has a gun. Like, that isn't relevant to gameplay at all. I just think it's really funny. It's literally just like a go forth and do crime. It's so funny. It's actually so great. Hey, hi, hello, what's up? If you're enjoying the video, please like and subscribe. Maybe even leave a comment. It helps me out a ton. Thank you. Now back to the video. Now let's move on to discussing her best build, starting with her Wenjin. To the surprise of absolutely no one, Yuzuha's best in slot engine is going to be her signature. But don't worry, free-to-plays, for I have good news and bad news, but it's mostly good news. This engine functions similarly to other support engines in that it provides extra buffs for the whole team, with this engine's buffs being more geared towards anomaly. But an additional thing this engine does for Yuzuha is that it further boosts the amount that she buffs anomaly and disorder damage, because these buffs specifically scale off of her own anomaly mastery, and this engine boosts the entire team's anomaly mastery.
But Kininatu, you said there was good news. That sounds pretty bad for my wallet.
Well, yes, but actually no. This engine is really good, as it will be the only way to maximize Yuzuha's buff due to the extra anomaly mastery. But don't worry too much about maximizing her buff, because it isn't necessary, and regardless of whether you maximize the buff 100%, she'll provide value regardless. Now for other options, Kaboom the Cannon. It's always Kaboom the Cannon. Other options can work, but besides her signature, Kaboom the Cannon is the best performing option. Even when we take into account Astra's engine. Astra's engine is not super good unless you're using it with Astra. So those were her engine options. Now let's talk about her disc drives. So as we mentioned earlier, her buffs scale off of anomaly mastery. So obviously that means AM slot 6. Plus, with the universal anomaly application from her aftershocks, this will be useful regardless. This also means that you'll also be going for 2-piece anomaly mastery. For slot 4 and 5, you'll be running attack percent because her attack buffs scale off of her own attack, similarly to Astra. Now, something that's a bit more complicated is her 4-piece disc drive sets. The current contenders are your usual support 4-piece sets, you know, your Swing Jazzes, your Astra Voices, your Protopunks, and more specific to Yuzuha is the possibility of running Freedom Blue. Swing Jazz buffs the entire party after a chain attack or ultimate, and it also gives energy regen from a 2-piece, which is pretty useful. Astra Voice provides the entire team with an attack buff or an agent quick assist. This won't be super useful with Yuzuha, simply because her EX special requires 60 energy, which is a lot, so she won't really be doing a lot of quick assists, so the buff won't have high uptime. Although the 2-piece from Astro Voice does make it a little bit easier to reach the attack threshold, so you can also keep that in mind. Protopunk gives a 15% damage bonus when a character defensive assist or evasive assist. I honestly don't have much else to say about Protopunk because I don't have a single Protopunk piece on my account and I do not like using Protopunk, so yeah, not much to say there. Now with Freedom Blues, it's important to note that Yuzuha's aftershocks are considered basic attacks, so she actually won't be giving increased universal anomaly buildup, but with the use of her EX special, she'll be giving increased buildup to physical. It's a bit early for me to say decisively which one is better, but I lean a bit more in favor of 4-piece Swing Jazz for like a generalist build, and 4-piece Freedom Blues if you end up playing her specifically with Jane or Alice due to the increased physical anomaly buildup. For her substats, you're gonna chase attack and AP as much as possible. I would say to mainly go for attack because similarly to Astra, some of her buffs scale off of her own attack. So substat priority would go something like attack percent, AP, flat attack, crit rate, and then crit damage, with those last two just being, whatever, like why not, Alright, so let's address the elephant in the room. A lot of people are calling Yuzuha the anomaly Astra, and to a certain extent, they're correct. But at the same time, it isn't exactly a one-to-one comparison like a lot of people seem to believe. First of all, Astra provides way more quick assists, which makes certain agents more manageable. Yuzuha also gives less damage percent bonus than Astra, which makes attribute percent slot 5 more beneficial than it normally is. Yuzuha also has way more of an on-field presence than Astra and takes a bit more effort to get her buffs up. She's still really easy to use, but she takes a bit more work than Astra. Yuzuha's ultimate also generates energy for the entire team, which is quite useful. Yuzuha also deals way more damage than Astra and builds up way more anomaly than Astra. So there are a few things that you get from using Yuzuha that you won't get from using Astra, and a few things you'll get from using Astra that you won't get from using Yuzuha. Discussing Yuzuha's teams is a bit complicated, but not really. Like I said before, the comparison of Yuzuha and Astra isn't necessarily one-to-one in favor of Yuzuha for anomaly teams, but generally, Yuzuha can and will replace Astra on almost all anomaly teams. This is great for any Astra owners because we know the struggle of having to overthink which side of endgame gets the privilege of receiving Astra's blessing, and now you can easily switch out Astra on your anomaly teams, leaving her freed up for any other teams that may need her. And in the off chance that Yuzuha releases and isn't best in slot on every Astra X anomaly team, then she'll probably be a close second best in slot, which will still leave Astra freed up. Now let's actually discuss some teams. Your standard Yuzuha team will probably be made up of a frontlining anomaly agent, an off-field anomaly agent, and then Yuzuha. Teams like Jane Vivian Yuzuha and Yanagi Vivian Yuzuha will both be viable. The only problem with these teams is that Vivian can be a bit clunky to use if you don't have her paired up with Astra due to the lack of quick assist, but generally it should be fine. Another thing is that you can easily replace Vivian with Bernice in the case that you don't have Vivian. I also feel the need to mention Yuzuha's possible teams with the upcoming agent Alice, who's coming in the second banner cycle in 2.1. Alice is a crit scaling anomaly agent similar to Miyabi, which could yield good results when paired with Astra when compared to Yuzuha, but generally, Yuzuha will probably be Alice's best in slot support. So teams like Alice Yanagi Yuzuha and Alice Vivian Yuzuha will probably be viable teams. Another thing of note is that Yuzuha will probably be worse than Astra when pairing them with Miyabi, because most of Miyabi's damage doesn't come from anomaly. But if you're pairing Miyabi with another anomaly agent like Yanagi, then Yuzuha will buff the other anomaly agent more than Astra would. Just thought I'd mention that. So that's basically everything when it comes to Yuzuha's kit. She seems to be a pretty high value agent, so if you got your polychromes up, then you should consider picking her up. So with that being said, I'm Kitsunatu, the one and only, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.